The French language, like the English language, has indefinite and definite articles. In the previous part of the chapter, we used indefinite articles to help us describe the objects in a classroom. And we weren't being very specific. We were just talking about, what is in a classroom? A pen, a clock. And we saw how indefinite objects also help give the masculine or feminine form of the verb. For a clock, we saw une horloge. For a pen, we saw un stylo. And that une also helps us number. It's one. The definite article also tells us if the noun is feminine or masculine or plural. The definite article is also used in different circumstances. For example, when we want to be specific. What if I were to be looking for a pen that I had lost? Well, when I find the pen and I say, oh, here it is, I would use the definite article because I'm not really looking for any old pen. Voilà un stylo. I'm looking for the pen that was lost. So when I find it and I hold it up and I want you to know, here it is. Here's the pen I was looking for. Here's the pen that was lost. Voilà le stylo. We also use definite articles when we're talking in very general terms, which is what we will be doing in the first part of this part of the chapter when we introduce different school subjects. We also use the definite article when we're talking about possession. But let's first look at the different forms based on whether the article is before a masculine or a feminine word, or a masculine or feminine plural word, or even a word with a vowel sound. The masculine is le, L-E. The example they give, c'est le professeur. That is the professor. Voici le stylo is the example I gave. For la, I don't see any examples, although there is one down here indirectly in the bottom. Voici la table. Voici la table d'Anne. La table. There's the L apostrophe or L apostrophe every time we have a word beginning with a vowel. This is so that the French can glide. Instead of saying voici la agrafeuse, that would create too much So it's voici la graffeuse. L apostrophe, for example, I, E, or I. L apostrophe also before the silent H, which we saw in this section, l'alphabet et les accents, et le H muet. A lot of words that begin with H are actually treated as if they began with a vowel because the H is silent. You'll learn those word by word. And whether it's masculine or feminine, if the word is plural, you have les. That's pronounced les all by itself. Les before a consonant sound. Les professeurs, les stylos, les langues. The example here is I study languages. J'étudie les langues. But if it's before a vowel, les, for example, if I said les agrafeuses, les étudiants, it creates a link. There's a little linking between les, the S in les, and the first vowel sound. So it just, woof, it glides. Les étudiants. You'll train yourself to understand this as you learn bit by bit. I've just given you the theory, but you'll understand as you start working in practice. So let's just go on for now to the different subjects presented in the first vocabulary part of this chapter. And we'll look at the more specific uses of definite articles as we train ourselves and learn together by working on the assigned activities. But if you ever have any questions, you have a tutorial here that you can play at any time. You have a podcast here, and with the podcasts, I always say, Listen until you get confused, because the podcasts often go to a very advanced level of theory. So just listen until it becomes confusing. And then you also have written out the explanation of definite articles. As I said, in English we have definite articles too, so you can use your intuitions as an English speaker to understand the definite article. However, you should understand one thing. The definite article is used definitely more often in French. For example, the two examples here, I study languages. My specialization, as they call a major, is Chinese. In French you have definite article. In the English translation, you don't. I study languages. J'étudie les langues. My specialization is Chinese. Ma spécialisation est le chinois. You're always giving the article. You have them here too to talk about possession. C'est le professeur de Paul. Ce sont les stylos de Paul et de Guy. Voici la table d'Anne. Voilà, you have these definite articles where in English you would drop them. So, what we'll be doing first is learning the different subjects, as in school subjects, and we'll be very conscious of the use of definite articles as we talk about school subjects. And then we will go on to the training activities where we will be using the definite article differently. We'll also be learning the adjective, but that's a separate lesson. Integrity lesson. Donc, bon travail.